You are now tuned in to the First and 10 podcast brought to you by OXP Media. I'm your host, Brandon Graham. You can find OXP Media on all of our listening platforms, SoundCloud, Spotify, wherever you do find your podcast listening needs. And I'm very pleased to be joined by a very special guest from Brampton, Ontario, from Ontario in general, Campbell. I have Jabulani Jabs Newby here. How are you doing, man? How you doing? How's everything?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me. Right now, just dealing with my Achilles right now. I had surgery right before the New Year's, and I came back home around mid-February, and just been doing rehab since.
That's all you can. That's all you can do right now. But I've seen you and your journey, of course, throughout the days from back in being on the Brampton Blue Devils all the way to where you are now, of course. In Circulo Gijon. Is it Circulo Gijon? Is that it? Pretty much where you?
Oh, yeah. So it's hard to pronounce. So it's Circulo Gijon.
Gijon.
So yeah. But
there you go.
I just say Gijon to make it easy. Yeah. So
okay. So I'm just gonna dive into your journey in general and just kind of give everyone a background story about you, because I've seen you grinding from the time for a long period of time playing basketball, just being everything you played for, so on and so forth. So just gonna get into the game of basketball in general. I know you've always been passionate, but like, when did you first foster the love for basketball? And did it come possibly from a parent or a certain mentor you had? But where did the love for basketball first foster with you?
I could remember liking basketball at first when I was like real young. I remember me and my older sister, we both had chicken pox, and my mom put us in one room together, and we were just watching the NBA playoffs with Michael Jordan. And I just remember watching the games and being excited and stuff. And I'd say for the love of the game, I was loving the game around, say, 9 or 10 years old. My friend Keenan Riley, we used to play basketball at recess all the time.
Right.
And he was saying, man, like, you're really good. Like, do you play on a team? I said, nah, I just play for fun. Like, I like the game, but I don't know like how to get on a team. And his father, he was working with Raptor Ball, so it was pretty much like a youth basketball program. And they brought me in one weekend, and I was playing with the older kids, and I was actually playing well. And then they started every weekend. They brought me to play with them and learn the game. And ever since then, I've been playing basketball nonstop. The following year, he brought me to the Brampton Blue Devils trials and tried out with his team. And so it was me, Keenan, Dylan Ennis, Tyler Ennis, Tristan Thompson. Like, the names go on, and we played on the same team that year. And then years after years, we've been playing on the same team. And that's how I started loving the game, and just playing basketball on a rep team.
Right. Shout out to Keenan. Yeah. Shout out to his family. I remember playing
for
Keenan as well too, and his dad for a while.
There you go. Yeah, like I still talk to him to this day. Like, I always say, bro, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be playing basketball.
Right. That's where it started in Brampton. Go ahead. Sorry. I was just gonna say, with that being said, being on that team with the Blue Devils and knowing Willie McIntyre and Dylan Ennis, and of course we've seen Tyler Ennis come up and play as well too. When you were on that team with Tristan Thompson and all these noble players, were you guys actually killing most of the the competition in Ontario in the OBAs initially, or is it something that you guys just started kind of developing together? Like, how did that happen?
Oh, well, at that age, like, we were good,
right,
but we were still young and we were still learning the game. That was my first year playing rep. That was Tristan's first year playing rep, and other players too. Oh, and not to mention my boy Jordan Clennon. I totally forgot to say his name.
Yeah.
My guy Jordan Clennon.
Of course.
But so that was our first year playing rep. So we're not used to playing basketball at that level at that age. So we were good, but when we played against the top teams, we saw the difference.
Absolutely. So when I look back at like the rise of Canadian basketball, especially in Southern Ontario, and especially from Brampton, like, it's hard. It's the 91s. It's the 91s through and through for sure. And going through there, playing on the Brampton Blue Devils, competing and, you know, being on a team and just not you being on a team and just seeing how you guys kind of rose. And now you get into CIA bounce, right? CIA bounce or an AAU team. Of course, playing at DY as well too. Were there any like throughout that time span, you guys got to travel down to the States, probably playing in Syracuse as well too, and playing against a lot of competition. Do you start noticing that you guys were actually better than a lot of these teams? I think 91 here.
Yeah, so you know, back then, like, it was a big deal going to the States, right?
Yeah.
And like, we don't know too much because we haven't been playing out there before. But like, when you think of America, you think of the best of the best.
Absolutely.
And then I remember our first tournament going to the States, and we were smacking teams. And then we got to notice, like, man, if we could beat these teams, man, we're right there with anybody.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So like the whole AAU journey and all that stuff, like I'll never take that stuff for granted.
Absolutely.
You know, playing against future NBA guys, like top college players and other players, man. It was just a great opportunity for us at that age.
Absolutely. And I remember even back then, because I remember my dad actually, you know, worked with CI Bounce and just seeing yourself and, you know, a lot of your kind of your journey from that point. So you play at DeVille, but then you leave DeVille to go play at Mountain State Academy. Is that actually how it happened?
Yeah. So right in the middle of my third year at DeVille, I got an opportunity to go to a school in West Virginia, Mountain State Academy. My boy, rest in peace, Kopi Mensah, was already there, and they were looking for another guard, like during like that period. And he mentioned my name. They hit up our AU coaches, Mike George and Tony McIntyre, and they made it happen. And then I just ended up leaving DeVille and going to the States. And what made everything smooth going from Canada to the States was having Kopi there. That made everything more comfortable because it was right in the middle of the school year, rather than at the beginning where I start fresh. I'm just jumping in. Right. So everything was comfortable like that.
Wow. Okay. So rest in peace, King Fee. Rest in peace, Kopi Mensah. So just speaking of Kopi Mensah in general, like with your relationship with him, of course, bringing you to West Virginia for the Mountain State Academy, and just, you know, how you guys rose from there. He's supposed to be an MVP, all this stuff, right? Like, what his impact on your life, not only in basketball but just in like life in general.
All right. So, like I said, when I started playing basketball, I was on the Brampton Blue Devils and he was on Toronto 5-0.
Right. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So like, obviously we knew each other from playing against each other when we were younger. And then when we started playing AAU, I was on Bounce and he was on CIA.
Right. Oh, right.
And then and then in high school, Bounce and CIA joined together, CIA Bounce. Right. He actually went to DeVille with me. And then he left DeVille to go to Mountain State before I did, right? Right. And then he was there 3 months before me.
Okay.
So when we were at DeVille, we were close, obviously, because we play on the same AU team. Yeah. But when I went to Mountain State, we went from being teammates and friends to brothers, because we went from playing on the same team but living in separate houses to going to West Virginia and living together and same classes, same house, you know, and our relationship just got stronger ever since.
I hear that, man. And just speak about your like the transition from Brampton, right, being on Sandalwood Parkway, and going now to West Virginia. Like, how was that transition for you, especially in grade 11? Like, we're still kids. You're still a kid at that point.
Yeah.
Being away from your mother, being away with everything. Like, how was that transition? Sorry.
I'd say I couldn't wait for that to happen, you know, because remember, this is like a dream come true. You're a Canadian kid playing basketball in America. Right. Like back then, like if you're doing that, that's big thing. And then when I left and got there, it was a huge culture shock. You know, like, so when you think of Brampton, Brampton's a suburb right outside of Toronto, so it's still a big city. I remember flying to West Virginia and I see nothing but mountains. Right? So it was me and my mom, we fly there. Obviously my mom was coming because I'm 16, just leaving Canada like that. She said she's coming to see where I'm staying at. Yeah. So we land and it's nothing but mountains and it's dark outside. and we're driving to our hotel, and you don't see anything. It's country. I've never seen anything country like that before.
Right.
But like all I was thinking about was just basketball, so it wasn't like I was ready to go home. Like I just couldn't wait to play.
Absolutely. No, I totally get that. But even speaking about like you just being like a young Black man in West Virginia as well too. I've been to West Virginia. I know exactly how that would be, of course, right? But the culture, like because you're with your brothers, like Kopi Mensah, made the transition a lot easiar too, right? Because you're still traveling a lot, right? So from Mountain State Academy, all right, you're there. You leave DY from Coach Zoff and so on at Deville, which goes on to be this, pretty much this, funneling of players and always winning, OPSA championships.
Yeah.
But where Mountain State, while you're playing at Mountain State in the prep program, are you playing against like notable NBA players, and is that like a lot of scouts were at certain games? Like how was that experience for you as well too?
Yeah. So when I got there, like our team, I wouldn't say we're really good, but our coach had a goal.
Right.
So he wanted to start us young, being like the young guys on the team.
Right.
And then eventually, like the following year, we're gonna get more players and be nationally known. And I believed him, and it worked. But that my first year there, we played against Brandon Jennings at Oak Hill Academy.
Yeah.
And I say that was the best player I ever played against in my life, especially at that stage. Because remember, Brandon Jennings was probably the number one player in high school at that time, and he went from high school straight to Europe and then to the NBA. Yeah, but we played against him. Then the following year, we ended up being really good. We were top 25 in the country.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So my junior year, we played against St. Benedict's. They had Mike Kabongo. Finley Prep, they had Tristan Thompson and Corey Joseph, Avery Bradley, other guys on their team. We played against Hassan Whiteside. We played against Quincy Miller, who was in the NBA, plays overseas right now. There's so many guys. There's another player that we played against that was really good.
I just remember that time.
I can't remember. But anyways, we played against some really good players throughout my high school career. I wouldn't take it for granted at all. Played on ESPN multiple times. My favorite moment in high school is my senior year beating Oak Hill Academy on national TV. That was a huge moment for me, for our team, and also for the school, because we went from just being an average school to top 25 school in the country and winning on TV. So that was huge.
That's awesome, man. I remember that game. I remember watching that game with you guys beating Oak Hill Academy. But even back then, like even in those games, and you getting PT and still doing your thing, were you ever at any point like ever not doubting yourself with like how was your mentality before these games, especially when you know that there are high profile scouts there from different schools, from the ACC, SEC, so on and so forth? Like did it ever get to you at all, or is it something you just kind of phased out?
No, not really. I say what I regret back then is I didn't have full confidence in myself when it came to those games. I wouldn't say I was scared. I was more hard on myself, like I wanted everything to be perfect.
Yeah, of course.
Rather than I should just worry about the next play instead of focusing on what happened before. And I think I got better with that ever since I've been playing pro.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's all right. But if anything, that would be it. I enjoyed it. I played well in big games. That's what helped me get a lot of offers from school. So can't complain at all.
Can't complain. I think that's a good lesson for young kids as well too, because like regardless what sport you're doing, if you're football, the basketball, it doesn't matter. Like if you're focused on the play that happened previously, the next play you're gonna miss it in general. I think, especially for a lot of people, they kind of lose opportunities because they're so focused on what they missed wrong or what they got wrong, rather than just stay in the course and continue to play the game, right? So that's something I guess you kind of get with time, and the more you actually play. So going from Mountain State Academy and then getting these offers and then choosing to go to Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah.
Was that how was your relationship with the coaching staff there and like that recruiting process? Did you have multiple offers, or is this something you just felt at home at EKU?
Yeah, so I had offers from all different levels. So I had high major offers, had mid major, low majors.
Right.
I'd say like right before my senior year, I committed, but it was between a few schools, and then I jotted it down to two schools, was Eastern Kentucky and New Mexico State. And the assistant coach for Eastern Kentucky, Josh Merkel, he like the way he talked to me and talked to my family, and we met in person. Like he just felt like, man, like I could trust this guy, right? So
yeah,
like it was crazy because it felt like everything he was saying is like man, like this guy is a really good person. Like
right. Totally.
And but you would think like, man, is he just saying this to like make me sign? But like, but if you really know the man, like you'd be like, yo, he's a really good person. You should trust him, and you should sign. And that's what I did. And I was really happy with my decision. But right before I was going to Eastern Kentucky, he quit and actually went to chose another route. He wanted to become a head coach.
Right. So that kind of
so it was kind of tough because like I already signed and he's on his way out. But I wouldn't say I made a bad decision signing there. You know, it taught me a lot of things. It made me grow up fast. I learned my lesson. You know, I enjoyed my time at Eastern Kentucky. So I wouldn't say I regret anything.
That's a good thing. Yeah, the fact that you don't regret anything you learned. I think, especially being away from home and being in Eastern Kentucky, going from West Virginia now to Kentucky, which is kind of similar, country states and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you can see exactly how that kind of goes. But you leave Eastern Kentucky now and you go to Gannon University. Do you strictly just do that for the PT, or is it more because you just wanted a little like change of scenery?
So I was actually trying to continue staying in Division I.
Right.
But like no schools wanted me to sit out, because when you transfer from D1 to D1, you have to sit out.
Yeah. Stupid.
So my only option was trying to get this I don't know, agreement from the NCAA saying that I'm transferring, because it was a legit reason. Like I decided to transfer to go close to home because of my mom's car accident.
Okay. Oh yeah, I got it.
Yes. So I was trying to go to Canisius or Niagara to try to stay in Division I.
Right.
But the NCAA wouldn't let it happen. So I decided to go Division II. And that was the reason why I chose Gannon. Gannon wasn't that far. It has great history in winning. The coaching staff was really good. I had great teammates, so I just felt like that was a great decision. And we had two other Division I transfers too.
That kind of helped you, you know.
Yeah, so I see, like I know where they're trying to get to, so that I thought that was the right decision.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And I get it, want to be closer to home and all that stuff. But I want to talk about the NCAA too. Like, how oppressive are they? Like, to have someone like a player sit out for a year rather than just. I don't understand that rule, and I think that it holds a lot of kids back, and it prevents them from doing a lot of things. And it's a system. The system just needs to be abolished.
Yeah,
be done, right? What do you have to say about that?
Like, it doesn't make any sense, but I see why they're trying to control certain things before it gets out of hand.
Right.
But I don't understand why they'll sit somebody out if they want to make a change, because they don't sit coaches out when they leave and go to another school.
Trust me, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I guess, and then once again, you spoke about you being in college not too long ago either, and it's still happening and it's still happening to this day. It's something that needs to be changed, but who knows? They command so much money, and really, who knows how that is. But just about your adversity in general. You playing, regardless if it's ECU, Mountain State Academy, Gannon especially. I'm gonna get to the pro career very soon, but just your overall mentality. Like, if you ever have, say, like an off night, or you're not shooting as well. Like, I know watching your game, a lot of people are kind of compare you and still compare you to kind of a Russell Westbrook kind of player. You just go in transition, just trying to get out and go. But like, if you're not having a game, we're not satisfied with yourself in a certain game. Like, how do you reframe your mind to come out even stronger the next day?
Watch film.
Yeah.
I say watch film. You know, you look at the things that you're doing wrong and look at the things that you're doing good. But also, you should always look at the things that you're doing wrong and try to fix it quick.
Right.
You know, if it's a missed shot, that doesn't mean that was a bad shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're turning the ball over, like you gotta look and see why you turn the ball over.
Right.
You gotta minimize certain things like jumping to pass, behind the back passes when you don't need to. Like certain things you can minimize to make yourself look better than what you really are, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. And you being a combo guard as well too, like
yeah,
especially when your coaches, regardless if it's like Kyle Julius or anyone, you know, in the States and et cetera, they had you usually handling the ball, distributing, but of course looking for your shot as well. Like you had the green light, but like, what is how would you describe your game when it comes to how you can contribute the most to your team? Are you more of a slasher and just getting to the basket and scoring, or you think you're more of a distributor? Because I think you're just a prototypical just combo guard in general.
Yeah. So when I was in college, I was more of a pass first point guard, right? So I don't know, college is a different type of style. Coaches usually have systems and you got to go by it or you're not going to play. Yeah. And then playing professionally, pretty much I was able to show more than what I could do. And being a combo guard, I'm able to do more than one thing, you know? So I say my playing style changed from college to now. Like I'm more of I can score off the dribble without a problem, create for my teammates. Like if we want to call it like a 2K term, like NBA 2K, I say I'm a two-way playmaking shot creator. So so I like to play defense. I like to play defense and score off the dribble and find my teammates.
There we go, man. That's the breakdown. That's a perfect breakdown of the game, I would definitely say. So now going from Ghana University and NCAA, because I do think just the NCAA in general is suppressive with a lot of what they do for players and the systems. And you don't, as you just said, if you don't play the way that your coach wants you to, you're not playing. You're not playing regardless. And I know it's one of those things you kind of have to get by to get to the next level or whatever it may be. But being a pro now, being in the NBL, especially with the St. John Mill Rats, being out in St. John, I think that must have been a culture shock for you too, right?
Yeah, because I never, besides America and Europe, I've never left Ontario in Canada until I got drafted in the NBL.
Okay, there you go.
So I haven't even been to Montreal. Like I've never left Ontario. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. So you just like to stay where you are. You don't like to get out too much in it.
Yeah. So like because of basketball, I was gone to the States. So I was pretty much gone my whole most of my adolescence years and early adult years. So I never got the chance to leave Ontario.
Right. Got you. Yeah. I understand that. So I was going to ask you too. So I do remember you playing on the CA bounce. You guys went to travel overseas. You played in France. You played against great European players. Was that how was that experience in general, especially as a young child going to the States with those guys, with those other pros that are now pros right now, just like you?
Yeah.
How was that experience? And was that your first? Were you not surprised when you ended up being a professional in overseas in Europe, or was it more? How was that experience and how it correlates to now?
Yeah. So I remember when we went to France, I never knew they took basketball that serious overseas.
Right.
And I never you hear about people going overseas for basketball, but I didn't know there was that many countries that play professionally
for basketball. Yeah.
So going over there taught me a lot about basketball, internationally, and how good, but they play different overseas, you know?
Right.
And looking back at it, I think 2 years ago, Coach Tony posted a picture on Instagram of when we were playing against a team in France, a team in Lithuania.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look in the picture, look deep in the back, you see a big man posting up.
Porzingis? No, it's Jonas. It's Jonas.
It was Valanciunas.
Valanciunas, exactly. Yeah.
I'm I did not know that was him, and it was just crazy just knowing that we played against him at that age. It's crazy.
That's nuts. Yeah, that's nuts. I was just gonna say, like, I that's actually my next question. I was gonna be like, I know you guys played some NBA players down there, but you know, Porzingis or obviously not Doncic, he's too young, but Jonas is definitely, because he's in '92, so that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense.
So, and we probably played against more, but we just didn't know at that time because we were 14, 15.
Kind of going off and doing that. Did you ever get a chance to try, like, try out for the Canadian team, going over or anything like that at that age at all?
No, I never did Team Ontario. It was just strictly AAU, CIA bound, and then at DeVille.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay, so that brings me to my next question, of course. Now, like, this game of basketball has brought you around the entire world, and going from, you know, the NBL, being drafted in NBL, Mississauga, St. John, and then going to Los Mitros, like in Spain, especially too. Like, just describe the game, like the game of basketball, how they play it in Europe, and your experience with playing. It's pretty tough. Like, these guys are tough players, and it's a different kind of game, right?
Yeah. So before I got to Spain, I was playing in Mexico.
All right, there you go.
Yeah. And like that was another culture shock when it came to the physicality of basketball over there. They're not calling anything out there. So you have to be tough to play out there. You play 4 games a week. You're traveling. You know, it's nuts. So I think that helped me to go play in Spain, and which it did, because I played really well in Mexico, and like those stats and those highlights helped me get overseas to Spain.
I wonder, playing overseas, like in Spain and even in Mexico, you being like a North American player, right, and especially Black player, do they look at you a little different down there? Do they think you guys are they trying to show you guys up at all? I don't know how that works, etc. But how was your experience? You usually have respect from players. They don't talk trash, do they?
It depends on the player.
Depends
on the player.
Right.
I say the local players, they get to be extra physical with us.
Right.
And they get away with it. And they know it. They know it. So
okay, that's the only thing that kind of manage. You don't talk too much. I feel you on that. So now going, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about overseas in a bit, but Kyle Julius, like being your coach in Mississauga in your rookie year now, the Fraser Valley Bandits as well. Like, how was your relationship with Kyle Julius and what he's done for himself, especially in the CEBL right now? That's kind of taking.
Yeah. So my rookie season in the NBL, I was playing for St. John, right? And I was playing well.
Right.
And then they decided to trade me. And I didn't know what was going on. Like, my coach came to my room and he explained it, because this is my rookie season. Like, I don't understand getting traded. So he pretty much explained to me why and like why it happened. Like, he told me, man, like, you're playing really well, but you're also a young guy, so you're attracted to other teams. Right. So they're looking to win a championship because they're trying to get more vets.
Right.
And I was playing well at the time, so they had to do a business move. Right. Like, they didn't want to do it, but it's also business.
It's business. Yeah, it makes sense.
So I ended up getting traded in Mississauga to Mississauga Power, and Kyle Julius was the head coach there. Right. So I get there, didn't know what to expect. All I know, I'm close to home. That's all I cared about. I'm close to home now. 15-minute drive to the crib.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I get there, first practice, talked to Kyle Julius. He said that he liked my game and he felt like I could help this team. I remember playing, and I remember this is my rookie season. I've been playing. I was a pass first point guard coming out of school.
Right.
So I'm thinking, like, all right, he's traded me. I'm going to be a point guard on this team too. So we're running plays in practice. He said, all right, Jab, go to the corner. I said, to the corner?
Corner, what?
To the corner.
Yeah. Awful.
He's like, so he's like, yeah, I'm going to have you play the 2. I'm like, I need the ball in my hand.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying in my head. I'm like, the ball in my hand. But the thing is, like, if he never did that, my game would have never changed. I would have still been that college player, right?
Right.
Now I'm playing more than one position.
Exactly.
Now I'm more appealing to other teams in the future that say, oh, he could play more than one position. He could show his athleticism. He could show more things than just running the plays and stuff.
Absolutely.
And the first home game with Mississauga Power, I came off the bench. I'm in the corner. Someone passed to me. I'm wide open. I catch it. I pump fake and went to the rim. Stepped out of bounds in the corner. He subbed me out. He's like, yo, if you do that again, you're not playing.
What?
So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, yo, man, who's this guy? Like, yo, like I'm like, all right, cool. 3 minutes later, he puts me back in the game. I didn't pump fake again. I just start shooting everything.
Right.
CAD, everything.
Yeah.
I got my career high that game, or season high that game. And I couldn't miss. Like, honestly, like I remember that game, I just felt like I was just shooting the ball in the ocean.
Literally.
Yeah.
In his zone. Yeah. Got it.
And then hearing my mom on the baseline screaming, like I just remember all that. And like, and I really can't thank College Julius enough for helping me with that, because my confidence was really low at that time when it came to shooting. And for someone to say to shoot the ball when you're open, like my confidence went from like here to like all the way up here.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's a perfect story just to break down. That's a perfect story. And that's what's wild about the NCAA. I don't think that's your fault at all. That's like your coaches instilling this mentality in you that you have to distribute the ball and be a distributor. And that's you got to pull up, you got to show it. And that's your confidence came from that. So just imagine if you had, I can't even go back in hindsight, but shout out to Kyle Julius for enhancing your confidence there, and especially for the youth out there too, knowing that like you may not play well, or your confidence may not be at a certain point, but they're going to always be opening for it. So that's a great story right there. And even just what you do for the community. I remember you had like a Jabs Newby Skills Academy, and then you're now doing the NBYMP, like the National Basketball Youth Mentorship Program. Are you still partaking in those initiatives as well?
Yeah, so with my camp, with Jabs Newby Skills Academy, I was working with A4H, Aspire for Hire,
right?
And my first year there, I was a camp instructor,
right?
And then for the second year when I was with them, they asked me if I want to have like a week of my own, like under A4H, have my own camp under A4H. I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then like it was really good. I was surprised that many kids were at the camp. Like it was really good. And then the next year I did it again for the second time, and it went well again. And the only reason why it stopped, it was because if I was gonna do it again, I want to be fully committed to where I'm all in with the camp, right?
Right.
Like right now I'm playing professionally, and I wouldn't say I want to give all to the kids rather than me focus on working out and doing my own thing. So I always said, if I want to do a camp again, is when I'm done playing, and that's what I stuck with. And then with NBYMP, I like NBYMP because it's more than just basketball, right? They're teaching the kids about financial literacy. They're teaching them about just being confident in themselves. And that's what I like about NBYMP. Shout out to Kevin Wilson. Like his mentorship program is top notch. Like I really recommend that to any kid or any parent that wants their kid in a program, something like that teaches you more than just basketball.
That's great, man. NBYMP, National Basketball Youth Mentorship Program. You heard it here. So please make sure you guys. For a lot of you that have the youth, a lot of you do listen to this podcast and whatnot, so broadcast this everywhere, so they can be involved with that as well too, right? So as one of the mentorship programs, I'll even put a link too, so people can actually see how they can get it involved with that. Because financial literacy is something that in school, being a teacher right now, they're trying to teach the kids a lot more of. And I think that's something we didn't get too much as kids or in school. So that's excellent. All right. So
and they weren't just teaching the kids, they were teaching the instructors too. Like I'm in there like listening, like man, I didn't know you could do this with your money. Like and it's just crazy because like they're learning this at 8, 9 years old. Like, so when they get to 17, 18, they're not going to be partying every Friday night. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's what I like about that mentorship program. They're teaching them young about more than just the sport.
Which is what they should have done back then when we were younger, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So, and even with that too, like financial literacy, especially as a pro player as well too, like you must be like, well, outside this personal, but investing and doing, saving the money and putting into different areas into real estate and whatnot. I think hopefully they talk about that stuff too, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, you pretty much got to do that on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember you're a grown man now. Like you're pretty much on your own. But yeah, I've been investing, trying to save as much as I can, especially when I'm during in season.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have this rule. I have the 80-20 rule. You know, I try to save 80% of my salary and then 20% do what I want. And it's really is a lot easier overseas doing that because they're paying for pretty much everything out there.
That's awesome, man. And even with congratulations as a new father as well too, the little Kenzo. Trying to instill those values of financial literacy and just growing up. I mean, even just all these different skills that you want your son to have. Like, what is one thing or a few things that you would want to teach your son as he grows up and plays, basketball, whatever? Like, do you want him to go through the same kind of road you went to? Like, what are some core values you want to instill in your son?
Yeah, if he doesn't want to play basketball, I'm cool with it. I say that the type of values I want to teach him while he's growing up is like, for example, like my injury right now. Like I'm not giving up on my dream because of a so-called serious injury, Like I want to show him like I'm going to work my ass off and try to get back to where I was, if not better. And just showing him like quitting is easy, but if you work hard, you're going to surpass that and excel. And that's what I want to show him.
That's perfect, man. Click that right there. You can show that to him in like 20 years, of course, right? But that's awesome. And just being overseas too, in Spain or wherever you play, where's your favorite place to play when you're overseas? Is it Spain? Is it just residing closer to like Madrid? Like where exactly is your favorite place to play?
I'd say, I mean, there's other countries that I've never been to that you hear of, but Spain is really nice. Spain is probably one of the best places to play. Like when it comes to level of basketball, they're top notch over there. The top league, ACB, is the best league in Europe,
right?
Because they have a few teams in EuroLeague, a few teams in Euro Cup, and a few teams in Champions League.
Right.
Rather than other countries usually have one team in those leagues.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so Spain is a great country to play in, great country to live in too. So I say Spain is my favorite country to play in.
Got you. And just you being in Spain and playing especially in Toronto as well too. Like what are just the number one, if you were to give yourself Jabs Newby that was around 15 years old, one lesson or one thing to keep in mind, what would you tell your younger self? Probably a loaded question. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, you good. I'd say don't overthink it. If things are not going well, like don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on it. Because eventually things are gonna work out for the best, and you just gotta stay confident and consistent.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there you go. And one thing what I wanted to ask earlier on, when you're on the street in Spain or overseas, do people on the street actually recognize you? I'm pretty sure they do. Like they recognize you guys.
Oh yeah. They could tell because obviously. Black. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's black people in Spain too, but I'd say black, athletic, and taller than the regular person.
Right.
So if they don't know you play on a team, they know you play on a team.
Right. That makes sense, man. So I gotta come over this Spain. I've seen all the footage and different game tape. Yeah, keep grinding through this injury, and they're gonna come back even better than you were before, even more explosive as well. Really appreciate you coming on the show, man, just spreading some knowledge for the youth and just for people in general, man. You've represented this area in GTA really well, and I just hope you continue to do that, man.
I appreciate you for having me.
No problem, man. Hey, this is Jabs Newby. I'm Brandon Graham of the First 10 Podcast, brought to you by OXP Media. Make sure you subscribe, like, listen to the podcast, and of course, we'll be back with another one really soon. Thanks, Jab. Keep balling, everyone, and we'll see you soon.